welcome back to our Blitz through the main story using the DLC characters. Today in our Marvel Knights version, we will chat with Elsa here briefly, and then go ahead and continue on through the Dark Dimension and see what we can encounter. So we've got to keep our eyes open for any more of these chests, and we don't have any in this particular segment. But we do have some of our Mindless One foes that we need to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and get a Paralyzing Gaze up on these guys. See if we can get one up on this large enemy here. That will make him easier to stagger and easier to burn down. Especially because he's taking increased amounts of damage from all attacks, which makes Morbius a very nice boss killing character for rushdowns. Alright, so now we've just got to focus on the last couple of these mindless ones. Actually, we might have... They're just going to keep popping up until we get this orb destroyed. And Morbius's dash attack there doesn't target this orb that we need to destroy to take down this rift, but that gets us through it. Let's go ahead and switch off over to Moon Knight. No boxes there. Got a bunch of those mindless ones taken care of there. We can't disable the rift for the ice element just yet, but we can jump up here and take on the one for the electrical element. Let's see if we can get a flurry of blows attack here, because that will help take down that electric orb a little quicker. Interestingly enough, it does appear that Morbius's Paralyzing Gaze works on those element orbs, because it was within the path, even though he was on a completely different plane, and it still dealt damage. And I do have one of my health masteries lined up where if I stagger an enemy, I can regain a portion of my health back as I attack into them, which is quite nice. And there's a portal up here that will take us over to the ice element, but there's a synergy wall that we're going to need to try and break down with our team members here. And it looks like Moon Knight and Blade is the winning combination here. And that will allow us to unlock this box, and that gets us a piece of art that I hadn't found, which is always good. Alright, let's switch over to Punisher here. Alright, that ice guy had me freaked out a little bit because I have seen it where they send out their elemental beams, and those are just more annoying, especially where the ice element can just completely freeze you and render you useless. I'll leave them to deal with that. And Punisher's auto-targeting back over there. But if we can use his heavy attack over on this orb, we should be able to burn it through. And we've just about got it taken down, which will allow us to progress onward.
So many colors, yet not one goes with my outfit. Pity that.
Sorry, Blade, but these guys don't exactly have a heart. That's kind of their thing. But we are on to the next little portion here, which is the rift that we need to shut down to help Ghost Rider come through.
Stronger. I can feel it. It is beyond the point where smashing some trinkets will
Alright,
seal it.
let's see. Get this fully charged attack. It does a decent amount of damage there against these orbs. But it does eat up a fair amount of the charge from the EP bar. Alright, let's go ahead and unleash Blade's extreme attack to build some more health back up. Because that is something that he kind of desperately needed there for a moment. And these ice giants are being quite the nuisance. Let's charge up this attack here as we walk in to the elemental ice giants here. And that just about took down what was left of that giant there. But not quite this other one. And now we've got the stagger bar there in our favor, but it's not quite enough. But that will do it. So let's go ahead and swap back over to Morbius so we can get some of these paralyzing gazes up. Especially because it has a bit of a stagger element to it on some of these larger opponents. Alright, let's see if we can not get zapped again. Don't exactly like being made of fly swatter. And interestingly enough, I didn't expect that Morbius's paralyzing gaze would work on these orbs, but they do. That gets that one taken down, which just leaves us the
It is as I feared. More powerful
ice
magic
orb.
will be needed to mend this fracture. I will have to handle this one myself.
That triggered the cutscene that lets us move on. So let's get Morbius in here so he can soup up his own attack damage. Let's get a paralyzing gaze on so we can take full advantage of our power boost here. And just like that, we've got the element attack coming out from this ice giant now, which is a nuisance because it means that we've then got to mash out of the ice. The nice thing about leveling up in this game is you immediately regain all of your EP and your health, so you don't need to worry about fainting in mid-level up or anything of that sort. So that's certainly a welcome change. just about got this big guy down. And we ate an elemental attack from the electric guy, which is not what I really wanted. Let's see if we can grab one of these health orbs here. Respond with a dash attack of my own. And Morbius goes down there. Poor resource management on my part in that one. Let's see if we can burn down the rest of these guys. Let's go ahead and use an ultimate attack here to knock down the remainder of these opponents. Just about got him taken down before his buddy charged in. That crescent kick just about did the trick. It gets a little nerve-wracking with Moon Knight because he's all white, and that's also kind of the animation that you get when you're encased in ice. And when there's one of these ice guys on the field, it's hard for me to tell whether or not I've been affected like that, or if something else has happened, or what is actually going on. Alright, so we'll go ahead and hop through this portal here. We don't actually need to talk to Ghost Rider to further the plot here, but we will go up to the next shield marker and then call it for today's episode. Now, there is a box up here that you need to be aware of. We might be able to get to it just with Morbius here. We can't. So what we're going to need to do is, if you zip past these enemies and fall down this ravine, there's actually a portal up here that zips you back right on top of it. So that one can be a little bit tricky to find if you're not familiar with it, but you will stumble across it if you're playing through casually and don't know not to fall down that ravine, or unfortunately get knocked down it by one of the enemies on the upper levels there. Alright, let's go ahead and finish off this guy. Just about got him. Ate a few more hits from him than I would have liked. And that gets us through there. Now, there's nothing you really need to pay attention to up here. Not all of your characters can make it up to this top level as easy. But there's nothing that you need to be aware of on either side of this little ravine. So we can go ahead and hop down here.
All of these rifts lead to different dimensions. We have to seal them shut before the realities converge.
And your teammates will teleport to you if you get too far ahead of them. Which is especially nice because you really don't want to be fighting these guys on your own. And this takes out that rift, but we should still focus on taking out the remainder of these parademons here. Let's go ahead and get some of this paralyzing gaze open on them. As we should be able to knock through them a bit quicker. They've got a lot of damage output that they can do with that fire breath, especially when they both go for it at the same time. let's go ahead and knock into this guy a little bit so we can finish him out, and that will allow us to progress up the cliffside here and through this portal. And this is our next shield marker where we're going to go ahead and call things quits, especially because the next portion of the fight that we go into will be against Doctor Strange, and I'm trying to keep these things cut a little bit shorter. So we'll go ahead and pause for today's episode. If you're enjoying the series, feel free to leave a like, and we will catch you in the next one. Take care.